What is up, my Shadowverse soldiers, and welcome back to another Shadowverse Evolved video. Alright soldiers, we are on our last set of reveals here, and of course I'm going to go over the extra stuff because I did find out yesterday, thankful for the comments from the last video, that there are more reveals that are for the certain crafts, that being Runecraft and Dragoncraft, that we have not looked at before, so we'll be getting into those after we're done with the neutrals. But without further ado, we have our first card. We have Marduk, so he's a 6 cost 5/5. You can evolve for 1, but when he comes into play, you put the top 2 cards of your deck into your cemetery. Alright, so it looks like this is the big boss monster legendary for the neutral crafts. We have a 6 cost 5/5, and being able to self-mill can definitely help if you're playing like a Necrocharge deck or something, or if you're playing Spell Chain and you really want to have a big boss monster that might potentially have something very good on this evolve. I don't think this is a bad choice to look at. And then looking at the Marduk evolve, so he turns into a 6/6, but on evolve there are at least 5 spells in your cemetery, give your leader +5 defense and draw a card. And then on evolve there are at least 5 amulets in your cemetery, deal 5 damage to each enemy following the field and draw a card. Alright, so forget what I said about Abysscraft if I did say anything about Abysscraft, but this is definitely screaming Rune, especially either the Earthright build or the Spell Chain build, just so you can either get +5 defense and drawing a card for having the 5 spells, or being able to deal 5 damage to the whole entire board while drawing a card as well. Alrighty, then next up we have Moon and Sun. So it's a 2-cost spell. You can activate for 4 play points to banish this card from your cemetery, and you put an Amaterasu and a Tsukiyomi into your cemetery onto your field. You can also spend the 2 to search your deck for an Amaterasu and Tsukiyomi and summon it, and then shuffle your deck. Alright, so that's a really good legendary, just spending 2 to get 2 followers on the field, and those followers fanfare effects or their effects of either having like whatever skills they have or just going to be on the field, and you can go ahead and start doing things. Alrighty, next up we have Paradise Vanguard. So he's a 3-cost 2/2. You can evolve him for 1, but when he comes into play, if there are at least 5 angel cards in your cemetery, select enemy fall on the field and banish it. Alright, so some very good angel support, and you do have to remember that it does say angel and not fallen angel. I have definitely fallen victim to the angel support before, where it was not paying attention to the archetypes. So you have to make sure you have 5 angel cards, so you do have to pay attention. So it looks like you're going to be using those bell ringers in this deck. And looking at Paradise Evolve, so he turns into a 3/3, and on evolve you select enemy fall on the field that costs 4 play points or less and banish it. So without the restriction of the unevolved side, I think it's pretty good to have a 3-cost follower that can evolve for 1, and then being able to banish a 4-cost or less follower to be able to stop their last words effects. Alright, and then we have Amaterasu, so she's a 2-cost 2/3. She has Ward, and when this card is engaged, give your leader +1 defense, and if there's a Tsukiyomi on your field, you give your leader +2 defense instead. Alright, so a pretty solid 2-cost card that's going to be healing you every time you engage from either attacking or warding, which is pretty nice. And if you're going to be playing this off of the Moon and Sun spell card, you can go ahead and get 2 defense at the end of your turn. Alright, and next up we have Tsukiyomi, so she's a 2-cost 3/2, and she has Rush, and when this card is engaged, you deal 1 damage to each enemy leader, and if Amaterasu is on your field, you deal 2 damage instead. So the good old heal 2, deal 2, if you were able to play this off of the spell card, the Moon and Sun, and this also having the Rush is pretty cool too, so you can go ahead and trade in for some damage. Alright, so I do not know how to say this, and I am sorry if I messed it up, but I think it's Sudiger. Okay, we're gonna go with Sudiger. So Sudiger is a 5-cost 4/4. You can evolve for 1, but when he comes into play, select it to 2 enemy followers on the field and engage them. They don't refresh at the start of their controller's next turn. Alright, so if your opponent has 2 big boss monsters that you can't really deal with, I think this is a nice card to be using, especially if they have engage abilities. If they don't refresh, they can engage to get bonuses, so if you go ahead and stop those right there, I think that's a pretty good spot to be in. Alright, and then we have Sudiger Evolve, so he turns to a 5/5, but he has Follower Strike, and you give this follower +2/+2. So if you're swinging into another follower, which you should whenever you're evolving, most of the time you are going to be swinging into followers unless this follower has Storm, you're going to turn this guy into a 7/7. Alrighty, next up we have Oceanus, so she's a 1-cost 1/1, and whenever a follower on your field evolves, choose one of the following. You can either 1, select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 2 damage, or 2, give your leader +1 defense. So on turn 1, your opponent's not going to always have the turn 1 removal or the turn 1 answer, so you can play a card like this on turn 1 and then turn 2. If you have a follower that you can play for 1 and then for another 1 play point you can evolve, I think this is pretty nice to add. Alrighty, next up we have Divine Retribution. So it's a 4-cost quick spell. You select the enemy follower on the field and destroy it, and if there's an evolved follower on your field, you put this card into your EX area. Alright, so what exactly Execution was, except it only targets followers, and then as long as you have an evolved follower on your field, this card goes right back into your EX area. Alright, next up we have Valkyrie of Chaos. So she's a 3-cost 3/3. You can evolve for 1 and she has Rush. Alright, so not that bad for a 3-cost follower. And then looking at the Chaos Evolve, so she turns into a 5/5, but she has Ward. Alright, so I'm liking the multi-purpose use for this card, so if you want to go ahead and rush on the unevolved side, you can go ahead and get rid of a follower to match the tempo, or if you want to really play on the back end and you're on a super advantage, you can go ahead and evolve her, and then order up. Alrighty, next up we have Valkyrie of Order, so she's a 1-cost 2/1. When she comes into play Fanfare, you can spend X amount of play points. Give this follower +X +X, X equals the number of your choice. Alright, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe X can only be a maximum of 9 when playing this card. Alrighty, and lastly, we have Fount of Angels. It's a 1-cost amulet with a wall of text. But starting with the first sentence here, we have Fanfare. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal an angel or a fallen angel card from among them and add it to your hand. Put the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. You can also activate the Engage this card and put this card into your cemetery. You give your leader +1 defense. And this ability can only be activated if there are at least 2 angel followers or fallen angel followers on your field. Alright, so unfortunately this doesn't save angels. I'm glad that angels does get more removal and some more ways to search, but I still do believe if you keep printing support of something, it'll eventually be good. Alright, and lastly we have the Marduk UR, so this is what it looks like. It's the evolved form. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm not sure if they're going to be censoring it or whatnot, because you know they do a lot of censoring in this game, because I do see something going on with this picture that, you know, the crowd might not agree with. But I hope anyone that's going to be wanting to acquire this card can acquire it, you know, pull it out of your boxes if you can. With the best luck of pull rarity, I'm hoping the best for you. But alright soldiers, that is it for most of the class reviews. Of course, we're going to be going over the rest of the Rune and the Dragon Crafts tomorrow. We're probably going to be doing them in one video just to make everything really simple. We have another surprise video. I did say last week, if any of you guys remember, I do have a surprise video coming out next week. But I do have unfortunate news. It's not going to be a full video because there was a bit of a mishap in the editing process. So hopefully you guys will enjoy tomorrow's video. It's only going to be a little bit, and if we get good views and good likes on it tomorrow, then we'll probably be doing another episode of it. But alright, so just make sure you're safe from whatever you do tonight and safe whatever you do for the rest of the year. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah, TRINN. Just to get you away. What I got to do, what I got to do.